You're hosting a lovely dinner party and have invited your guests into the sitting room for some after-dinner tea. You chuckle. You left the TV on. You were just watching Is It Cake with your partner this afternoon and left it paused. Have you seen it? Oh, it's such a clever show, and begin to explain the premise as you press play. The screen shifts from host and SNL veteran Mikey Day to a shot of an absolutely delicious-looking hazelnut toffee-flavored cake with espresso buttercream filling and a slightly tangy lemon yogurt frosting in the shape of Shaquille O'Neal when your guests suddenly begin moaning like zombies and accost the television, pawing at the cake and trying to bite the screen. "Reginald!" you exclaim, and change the feed from Netflix to your cable package, where a documentary on snakes is playing on the Discovery Channel, and at that moment a huge king cobra is poised, ready to strike. Your guests scream, some of them jumping behind furniture, while one brave soul begins grabbing one by one the tasteful objects decorating the room and throwing them at the television, finally succeeding in smashing the screen to pieces before mounting the chaise longue and hooting in triumph. This admittedly silly scenario offers us an illustration for our question. If life can be lived in a way that is free of suffering, why does it seem like so few people achieve this in a lasting way? Why is the default condition of being a person so miserable? Over the next 3 videos, we'll try to respond to this question from 3 different but related angles. Firstly, we're not aware that we're watching a screen. Secondly, we want what's on the screen to be different. And thirdly, how we as humans generate our screen and experiences largely bakes suffering in. The first 2 of these responses, that we don't realize that we're looking at a screen and that we want what's on the screen to be different, comprise one of the classical Buddhist ways to answer the question, why do we suffer, and are called ignorance and attachment, respectively. We suffer because we don't realize that what we are and what we are experiencing is a display, a process, an activity. This is ignorance. We think that our experience is of an absolutely real, solid, and enduring self and world. We see a snake on a screen and jump. It's not that things are unreal. Jumping away from snakes is not a bad idea, but that our perceptions and experiences are created, generated by various psychological, neurological, social, and cultural processes, layers and layers of interpretation upon interpretation, and this is true even for bare perception. What appears as a single, seamless reality is formed out of layers of processes that shape our experience before we're ever aware of anything. We naively experience the world as if it's directly accessible and mistake our impressions as objective reality. This is misleading. If you are watching a snake on a screen, you'll have some response to it. You might feel excitement or fear or disgust or appreciation or any of a million things. But whatever you experience, you probably won't suffer from it. You know you can just turn the TV off and walk away. But in our lives, we suffer. We are looking at a screen, but we don't see it. Unaware that what we're experiencing is a display, we very, very much want what happens on the screen to be different. This is attachment. If we feel pleasure, we want it to continue. And if it stops, we grasp after it. If we feel pain, we resist feeling it and try to get away from it. Good or bad, we want what's happening to be different. But, of course, what's happening is precisely what's happening. And this dilemma, this contradiction in how we experience basically anything, is intensely unpleasant. This is suffering. You can probably remember or feel into in the moment this flavor of unpleasantness, of agony, when something you loved or enjoyed disappeared, or when something happened that you really, really didn't want. Attachment, then, is a kind of rejection of experience, a striving, grasping, or clinging, which can never really bring satisfaction because built itself on top of a mistake, on trying to control and manipulate something which is entirely out of our reach. If we could just get that Shaquille O'Neal cake on the screen in our bellies, then we'd be happy, we think. But neither of these, attachment nor ignorance, exactly answer the question, why is this the default for human experience? They're more descriptions of suffering and its mechanisms. Why aren't we aware that the snake is appearing on a screen? Why aren't we content to let good things go, or to simply accept the bad when it happens in life and respond appropriately? Why do we react to our experiences? We'll begin here to look at how we construct experience in a few different ways, starting in this video with a biological evolutionary lens, looking at how the mind operates in concepts in the next video, and at identity and development in the one thereafter. We are biological beings, standing on billions of years of evolution. Everything about us has been tuned by survival and reproduction, and if that weren't the case, we simply wouldn't be around. The thing is, whether by snake or old age, you're going to die. Like every other biological being, we are fighting an uphill battle we can't win. No matter how many children you have, no matter how much money is in the bank, you're ultimately going to lose the game. It's a catch-22. Everything that constructs our experience biologically tunes us to survive, and we can't. This contributes to what's called a negativity bias. Illusion or not, there are snakes in the world, and they can end your life. You can spend time checking a cake out more thoroughly. Is it really Shaq, or is it a cake that would increase my chances of making it through the next few days? But it's a better idea to assume that any ambiguous ropes are snakes than it is to assume that any ambiguous snakes are ropes. One mistake could be fatal. This architecture, always looking out for what will kill us, never gives up. And so we are ever ready to shoot before we ask any questions. This is unbearable. We know we're going to lose and are compelled to play anyways. Through these lenses, we are ignorant because experience is tuned for survival, not for peace or happiness or even reality. We are attached because our experience is made of signals that are life and death and therefore urgent. It's hard to be equanimous in a 5-alarm fire. That we are biological is not a sufficient answer, of course. It's hard to imagine that amoebas suffer. So we can add that the cognitive architecture that it takes to become aware of awareness, to notice that the snake is taking place on a screen, is extraordinarily sophisticated. An amoeba is not capable of this kind of self-reflection. The capacity to recognize awareness must be earned, not through effort, but evolutionarily and developmentally. It's not simply there at the beginning. However, the structures that allow for the recognition of awareness also allow for suffering and make suffering a default. We'll look more carefully at why this is in the next video. This is part 6 of the 12-part first chapter in the series You Are Looking at a Screen. For more, check out the notes for this video and please like and subscribe for the full series. If you have any questions, if you found this helpful or have criticisms, leave a comment. For workshops, free meditations, individual instruction, and more, head to andrewlewisvenezia.life. Be well, be good, and be free.